Mr. 𝐂𝐫𝐴𝐬𝐬, founder and CEO, 𝐂𝐫𝐲 Hospitality, talking about the art of crafting a winning restaurant concept. Rohit leads 𝐂𝐫𝐲 Hospitality's food and beverage, hospitality and interior design business, as well as develops the company's strategic vision. A graduate of the Stern School of Business and New York University, Rohit's passion for the hospitality business was sparked when he walked into the Royalton Hotel, one of the first boutique hotels in New York. Rohit's interests in food and beverage were also kindled in New York City, where he dined at many world-class restaurants. These experiences serve as a catalyst and inspiration for what Rohit strives to achieve at 𝐂𝐫𝐲 Hospitality today. Please join me in welcoming Rohit.
I'm sorry, I didn't know about the casual dress code, so if I'm a bit overdressed, I apologize. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is 𝐂𝐫𝐴𝐬𝐬. I'm the CEO and founder of 𝐂𝐫𝐲 Hospitality. And today I'm going to present you a case study of how we went from crisis to comeback by crafting a new winning hotel restaurant concept. A little introduction about our company. We're a restaurant group with 8 lifestyle and QSR brands expanding internationally. And we also have Experience Transformation Agency, where we curate experiences for restaurants, bars, nightclubs, beach clubs, food halls across the globe. At the end of 2021, as we were coming out of the pandemic, 𝐂𝐫𝐲 Hospitality was facing huge challenges. Firstly, we had a number of aging F&B brands which were 6 to 8 years old, and we were very concerned with whether the affinity towards these brands that were there before the pandemic would prevail after the pandemic, with so much evolutions that were occurring in terms of consumer behavior. Secondly, we were suffering from financial indigestion. Money was coming out, but it wasn't trickling down to our balance sheet. That served as a huge problem for us in the present and moving forward. I immediately assembled a strategic task force of all my heads of departments so that we could figure out what we were going to do next. After a few weeks of deliberation, we decided that the best defense was offense. We were going to come out with a new winning restaurant concept. As part of that effort, it was really important for us to understand the consumer behavior evolution. So the one thing that was really important was the rise of the Gen Z demographic. By 2030, a lot of them coming from Indonesia, Asia Pacific would account for 25% of Gen Zs globally, and the global spending in terms of Gen Zs would amount to about $12 trillion. We knew we needed to be on TikTok. The pandemic also redefined the definition of dining. Dining used to mean going out, but during the pandemic, dining meant staying at home in your pajamas and having the restaurants come to you. So what was the definition of dining after the pandemic? We predicted that dining out would need to have entertainment components as part of their offering. The second thing that we predicted was that I used to get on stage and tell people that food was the most important thing. But after the pandemic, it was the first time that I said food was not important anymore. Now, I didn't mean that food did not have to be good. I meant that food needed to be good, but it was a given. But we needed to focus on some of the other experiential components that would take precedence. As part of our team getting together and exploring potential concepts, we wanted to look for concepts that had an entertainment and social appeal. And as part of relating to the Gen Z demographic, we wanted to make sure that these concepts focused on gamification, escapism, and that they would be very, very Instagrammable. So we looked at existing food concepts that had that social appeal, such as teppanyaki, Korean barbecue, as well as supper clubs such as bagatelle, which began as dining concepts and turned into nightclubs. Lastly, as travel was restricted during that time, we needed to make sure that this new concept would appeal to affluent Thais. As part of the project discovery and research, we brought our strategic design and strategy teams together to look at what would be the concept that we would launch at this significant time. After collectively discussing it, we decided that we would launch a robatayaki concept. Robatayakis are Japanese fire dining concepts where you sit around a counter and the chefs serve food right in front of you. It's highly Instagrammable, very unique, it's immersive, and it's interactive. And it combines traditional Japanese culture with modern dining trends. We thought that would be perfect for both Gen Zs and affluent Thais. But robatayakis are traditionally very expensive offerings. There was a previous restaurant that had lost a lot of money in Bangkok, and we learned from them. So what we wanted to do was to democratize the robatayaki experience. Instead of it being $200 per person, we wanted the average per cover to be anywhere between $80 to $100 so that we could then, again, appeal to the Gen Z demographic. And of course, lastly, if you've ever been to any Soho hospitality restaurant, you know we needed to put Soho's take and put our imprint on the concept. Our approach to implementing concepts is what I call experience by design. Experience by design is when every single element of the concept is researched, planned, and executed with an excruciating amount of detail. And that goes from interior design, branding, uniforms, tabletops, food and beverage concept, cocktail programming, as well as music programming. Research has shown if you implement the right type of music in your restaurants, it could increase dwell times and revenues of up to 10%. And of course, if you know me, you know that I put a lot of attention to detail in everything I do because that is how you separate yourself from the competition. The experience by design led us to create very interesting and vivid brand collaterals, operational collaterals, marketing collaterals, and then we also worked with one of the top fashion designers in Bangkok to come up with our uniforms. Location matters. It was really, really important for us to find the right location. And after searching for a while, we decided to open at the Skyview Hotel in Sukhumvit 24 in what is today called the M District. The M District is where three malls come together: Emporium, M Quartier, and M Sphere. And in this lane, there's about 2,000 hotel rooms. There's also residential buildings, public access to public transportation, and a location frequented by affluent Thais. As part of implementing technology post-pandemic, and this is something we did at this restaurant as well as across all of our restaurants, we enhanced the customer experience through integration of our Revel POS and table management system called 7 Rooms. This gave us 360-degree visibility of the total of the guest journey in terms of menu selection, their reviews, and it also gave us visibility of their spending across all of Soho hospitality restaurants so that we could use that to personalize the customer experience. It was also very, very important that we entered the new era of pricing dynamics. The pricing consultancy, Simon Schuster and Partner, said very cleverly that restaurants make 2 big mistakes when it comes to pricing. We either price too high or we price too low. The restaurants, the perceived value of the goods and products that we sell are relatively unknown, and we need to do a better job of understanding what consumers are willing to pay for our products. Knowing that we were coming up with a product that would be very unique and would have an entertainment dining concept appeal, we knew that we could premiumize this concept and consumers were willing to pay for it. Today, I can proudly say this restaurant that we launched has the highest APC across 8 of our restaurant brands. We also implemented menu engineering across all of our restaurants so that we could understand the popularity versus profitability of all of our menu items. Popular but less profitable items are looked at how they can be re-engineered, and items that are not popular and not profitable are replaced for newer ones. But most importantly, due to inflationary pressures at the time in which we were coming out of the pandemic, we knew that we had to focus on smaller menus, 25 to 32 items at a time in which supply chains, the pricing of supply chains were going up. Learning cues from our hoteliers, we also decided to look at restaurant distribution, something that restaurants rarely look at. We did weekly reviews of revenue distribution to understand and track sources so that we could benchmark trends and gaps. We also anticipated that after the pandemic, consumers and corporate groups would move away from hotel restaurants and hotel ballrooms into restaurants. And so we ensured that we were going to turn this restaurant into a hybrid space. And as a result of this implementation at this restaurant, as well as across all of our restaurants, corporate groups are now accounting for up to 8% of all of our restaurant revenues. The one problem when it comes to restaurant efficiency in terms of table and seat optimization, restaurants really do not understand table and seat management analytics. They're not really looking at group sizes, dining times per table, or seating preferences, and they're implementing static strategies that do not work. However, today, there's a lot of new startups coming up in the space of restaurant revenue management, such as my good friend Puneet over here, who runs a company called Perfect Check, who we're starting to partner with. And these companies can provide advanced reservation management. They have algorithms and software that can provide you dynamic seating configurations and generate revenues for you by optimizing turn times. At our new restaurant, we knew that with a small 38-seat restaurant, we needed to optimize table and we needed to have table and seating optimizations. We predicted that during peak hours, on the weekends, that 4 tables would generate more income than 2 tables. So we restricted 2 tables during peak hours, and that resulted in revenues increased by 10%. So this is the final result of all the work that we did to come up with a new concept. It took us about 4 to 6 months to eventually launch this concept, and this is the result. We came up with a restaurant, a robatayaki concept called Yankee. Yankee in Japanese means a high school dropout that joins a biker gang. That's what it actually means in Japanese. And we came up with this fictitious story that this was an old izakaya that was run by a traditional Japanese family. They struggled during the COVID pandemic, and it was taken over by a bunch of Yankee biker gang guys who turned it into what it is today. The bar on the downstairs is inspired by a dagashi bar. Dagashi bars in Japan are candy bars where you can pay 500 yen and eat as much candy as you like, but you have to pay for the alcohol. And we created a real Yankee vibe by creating bold colors, Japanese posters, graffitis on the ceilings, and we even have candy machines where you can take your Yankee minted coins, put it into the candy machines, and try your luck in terms of winning a cocktail, a dessert, or perhaps a Yankee t-shirt. And some additional images of the bar. We worked with a mixologist from Dubai in terms of creating innovative, very well-presented Japanese cocktails, highly Instagrammable, using Japanese spirits. Once you go upstairs, that's when the fun starts. We have 2 robatayaki counters, 19 seats each, and it's highly Instagrammable because the Japanese robatayaki chefs are cooking in front of you, serving the food in front of you, highly interactive, highly immersive, and very, very Instagrammable. The food concept is primarily about the 3 grilling techniques from Japan: kushiyaki, robatayaki, and yakitori. And 80% of the food is grilled in front of you, but we do have 20% of the food that comes out of the hot kitchen. But the best part of Yankee is the entertainment dining experience. I told you earlier that we needed to make sure that we're going to appeal to the Gen Zs. We need to make sure that this was going to be an entertaining dining concept. And what we did, we gamified the entire experience. When you come to Yankee, you come and sit on 2 tables. 19 seats on this side, 19 seats on this side. This is the blue gang, this is the red gang, and you start competing against each other. There's 2 bells in between the tables and an electronic scoreboard. Ring the bell, buy a round of shots for your counter, get a score on the board, and that's where the game begins. We started out this gamification concept about 6 months ago, and about a year and a half ago. And about 6 months ago, I got a call from my manager at midnight, and I started worrying what he was doing. He said, "Boss, today the score was 35-35, and everybody left drunk." Well, that wasn't really the intention of the gamification, but it was about creating a concept that would appeal to the consumers, offer them a great way to celebrate their nights, and share a special occasion with their friends. And this is a little video that we created to show you the experience at Yankee. Since we've opened, we've had 333 reviews on Google. We score 4.8. We have some of the highest Net Promoter Scores through the internal surveys that we did. And when you're in Bangkok next, please contact me so we can have a fun night again.